Hello and welcome along to another episode of this FM20 story from Dorking Wanderers with me, Daniel. It's season 15, episode 7, and it is another massive game in the cup today. It's the FA Cup semi-final at Wembley Stadium against Chelsea, the runaway league leaders, the soon-to-be Premier League champions. And we have got to pull off another miracle if we want to make it to the final. And at that point, we'll probably have to pull off a third. So we beat Manchester City in the last episode in a brilliant quarter-final performance. And now, at the National Stadium, we have got to try and get it again. Zinedine Zidane's Chelsea are the opponents, and that will be live in a moment. But we've also got to have a look at how our European form stands. We're desperately trying to get into Europe for the first time, and we're hoping this season 6th will be enough. It wasn't last year due to other circumstances, so we'll keep our regular eye on how those are going pre-match as well. We'll also have a look at potential good news off the pitch and some more strange news out of Scotland. But firstly, if you are looking forward to this one, please do put a thumbs up on the video. Thanks again for your support this season. I hope you're still enjoying it. And of course, there's plenty other content on the channel too, so please do subscribe and turn on your notifications for that. But this is all about Dorking Wanderers. So we are going to start by doing our usual quick look at the results off camera. There's only been a few since the FA Cup quarters. It was the second rerun against Manchester City. They got the better of us in the league, I'm afraid. A 2-0 win on that occasion. We then beat Reading 1-0. A good performance at home. Jerome Yonton got the winner. Reading playing with that flat front three, which we used to struggle with so much on the channel. Jeff Coppens missed a penalty. Otherwise, it probably would have been quite comfortable. And then last time out, a 0-0 draw against relegation-threatened Crystal Palace. They're down in 19th. It's not the best result. And to be honest, they nearly nicked it late on. So it looks like Palace are going down, but as it is, we couldn't get the winner. So that's where things stand at the moment. Today's opponent's Chelsea, of course the side we're currently at in the head coach, our other series on the channel. You can catch up with us joining them and our first season at the club in the eye above. But this is all about Dorking Wanderers again, so let's have a quick look. The dynamics are looking pretty solid, in fact excellent in terms of the dressing room. If we go to the medical centre, there's no one out injured, a few others not quite match fit yet, but generally it's looking alright. So it's just Tommy Frew who will be unavailable, but we're playing games thick and fast now and we haven't got the squad to cope. But this season the injuries are down, so we can't complain too much. What I do want to do though, with us in 6th place, is have a look at the Europa League, because I want to see if any of those sides are still in it, because Burnley were the ones we're worried about. And look what's happened, the semi-final is Burnley. The club are of course managing on a live stream series, the Youth Academy Challenge, against Manchester City, and we desperately need the citizens to win. We need Manchester City to get through, we need Burnley to not win that Europa League, because if they do, 6th might not be enough if Tottenham then win the FA Cup as well. The good news in the Europa League too, there will be no repeat of Leicester's victory, as there is no English side left in there. So let's have a quick look at the FA Cup. I think the other semi-finals tomorrow, so we might stick around for that post-match. But a Manchester United win would pretty much assure us 6th place is enough, even if Burnley do win the Europa League. But I don't think either of those things will happen, so it will probably be Europa League football rather than the Europa League 2 next year. And with a 6th place finish, that's thoroughly deserved. So we're going to go and get into this Chelsea game. There is some good news off the pitch as well. If we go to our 23s, Carlos Manuel Correa is finally ready to discuss a new deal. So we've offered him $8 a week to try and get him onto a pro contract and a work permit. And that means we'll be able to use him in the first team squad. He's someone, of course, who will become homegrown at the club. So we'd love to see him reach his potential. And at 2.5-star ability already, I think he's going to be very good. He's still got that 5-star potential. His personality, determination's improving. Mentally he's strong and technically he's getting better as well. So there are so many positive signs from him, and I'm hoping before long he'll be involved in the first team squad. So let's go and get into this game today, where he features as well. Of course he can play in the cup games, just not the Premier League. So Chelsea in the FA Cup semi-final. None of the other league games that we've got to be watching, to be honest. Arsenal have definitely passed us now. And Chelsea are favourites at a packed out Wembley Stadium despite a few injuries. So we're going to need another miracle, and we've had to go for our strongest team despite some physical problems. We've got Kieran Pollock, who's nowhere near match fit. Balter's not quite there. Peter McLaughlin not really. We rested him in midweek and he's still not that fit. And then Balic and the likes are a bit tired after playing those 2 games, as well as most of the back 4. So although we've got game changers on the bench, we probably haven't got everyone fully fit and in the best possible nick. And that's not what you want for the biggest game of the season. But what we have got is Gabriel Afonso in goal, a man who is now becoming world class. He's playing regularly for Brazil. He's a brilliant goalkeeper and he's still got more potential. So I'm so sure he's going to be the top class keeper. He's probably better than DG Akobe, who we've got at Chelsea in the head coach. At the back, Pollock is struggling with injuries this season again, so we might have to look for either Correa starting next season or a new first choice. Semedo at centre half is becoming brilliant. Mertens alongside him is still sneaking improvement, and Mazzino at left back is another one of those. He is becoming world class, 21 years of age, and he's improving so quickly and still got all that potential as well. The improvement to the training facilities helping. We've got some other news off the pitch in that sense too. Balta's improving, he's doing well. Boyce is a solid player, we know what to expect from him. Ryan Lima just stagnated a bit, he's not had the best season actually. For the first time, he's not going to get to double figures in a long time. He scored 10 in his first, then 16, then 12. This year just 5 in an injury hit year. McLaughlin in the number 10, a skipper, but probably needs to be replaced soon. And then Balic over on the left, who's been a surprise package. Not the best rated player, and not going to be a superstar long term, but he has got 8 goals, he's doing really well. And Jeff Coppens up front, another goal drought starting, but a very much improving player. Scoring goals for fun for Belgium, so he probably needs a bit more support from our attacking midfield 3. So that's the 11 we've gone for today. The likes of White, Council, Yonton, Prescott and Nunes, all there as attacking changes if we need them. And to be honest, we've got some off the pitch news we need to look at as well. So we're going to get into this semi-final against Chelsea. Fingers crossed for a miracle. But we'll save that news to the end so it doesn't put a dampener on the proceedings. Whatever happens here, we'll have a positive to finish on. 4-2-3-1 for Chelsea. They've got their backup keeper Jacobson in goal, a man we've tried to sign in the past. Pratt at centre half, we've mentioned we've tried to sign him too. And on the wings, they've got their 2 real players remaining. João Felix on the left, Kylian Mbappe on the right. So let's have a look at how on earth they've ended up here and how much they paid. So Felix, to be honest, they're pretty much backup players now. Felix is unbelievable technically and mentally, but physically not quite good enough. So let's have a look. 115 million he joined Chelsea for. He's been here for over a decade. He's done really well. Kylian Mbappe, probably the star of the show at 35. 140 goals for France. 186 goals for Chelsea in the league. Technically still one of the best players in the world. Mentally still one of the best. And to be honest, physically still very good. He's certainly got another year or two in him. They paid 200 million a decade ago again. And my word, he's been a good player for them. Double figures every year, largely playing off the right. And he's a brilliant example to some of these younger players they've got. So let's go and talk to the lads. We'll remind them that the pressure's off. And hopefully we'll be able to get behind the ball and get in a solid performance. We'll stick with balance for now. Let's get through the tunnel interview and into the first half. Can we shock the second big boy in a row? Early on, we've got a throw on the left-hand side with Mazzino. Into Boyce and now Baltas. It's a good, promising start, to be honest, in possession. But we haven't created anything from it. As Baltas goes right, he finds Coppens. There's 2 running off him. There's a man over on the left as well. It's the overlapping left-back Mazzino. Just stopped in his track by the challenge. But back to Coppens. Lima to Pollock on the overlap. Up by the byline. Delivers into Coppens. And I tell you what, Dorking Wanderers lead. It is a brilliantly worked goal. Fantastic possession from the throw-in. A wonderful overlap. A good side overload. And on the right-hand side, Pollock gets in to set up the goal for Jeff Coppens. We talked about Pollock being replaced next year. We talk about Coppens being disappointing and maybe going into another goal drought. And within 5 minutes, both of those are proven wrong. And we're coming forward on the left again with Balic. He's just skinned 2 players and Jacobson's let it in. He's got a hand to it and I just assumed he tipped it wide for a corner. From absolutely nothing, Balic stood up the defender, got him straight on, went either side, and it's a brilliant effort. And he's in for 2. We're in absolute dreamland. 20 minutes gone. Chelsea 0, Dorking Wanderers 2. And we're on course for the FA Cup final here. It's Gabriel Afonso with the goal kick. It's got to be aiming for the wingers. He does, and it doesn't find Balic. Mbappe intercepts. Fabro gets it down the right-hand side. Into Cortez. That's too easy, and Afonso saves. It's out for a corner, and from those goal kicks, we're just going to get him to go as long as possible. Distribute over the opposition defence. None of that wide area. Mbappe and Felix still technically the best 2 players. So we want to keep them away from it. Mbappe himself will take this out swinging corner. Pratt heads comfortably wide. And with a quarter of the game gone, I would have snapped your arm off for this. And we're back as Cusco picks up the ball on the left-hand side for Chelsea. Cortez back into Cusco. It's very clear to see that Chelsea are on top now as Fabro gets in. It's a brilliant save from Afonso. Sticks out a left leg as Mbappe runs it out for a goal kick. It is brilliant goalkeeping, Afonso. And do we have to start to think about how we can change the game now? We've got the 2-goal lead, so I think the fullbacks have to go on to defend because we need to make sure we keep them back. I know they've set the 2 goals up, but that can't be the priority now. Carl Boyce, do we want him on a defensive duty? I don't know. Oh, it's a bit too hard to work out here. We're just going to make that change for now. We will start time wasting as well, but we've got a Jacobson goal kick to watch, and you know my superstition there. Here's Scuglia, the centre-half, out to Miguel. They've beaten the press really easily there. Here's Miguel again, down the line to Mbappe. Lots of space to run into. The midfielder's not really getting a challenge in on him, and he finds Fabro. Into the box, beats 2 people, and Afonso lets it in. That's really poor. He can't be letting in strikes like that after such a good performance. And you know what? That's taught me a lesson. Trust your players. Don't go defensive too early. We've played half an hour. So let's demand more. Let's keep them on top of things. And hopefully we can get a third. But it's now getting tense. And now there's a Chelsea free kick. 25 yards out for Cusco. It's all Chelsea since the second goal. Cusco, it's in. It's 2-2 already. And the FA Cup dream's over just like that. And to be honest, again, it was straight down the middle. Afonso let it in. It was a good strike, but he probably should have saved it. And that is not the way to end the first half. It's going to be half-time. 2-2 Chelsea and Dorking. And after a brilliant dream start to go 2 up in a quarter of an hour, what a way that has been to throw it away. So we're going to tell the lads we're pleased. It's been a good performance still, but we need a response. We need Lima to step up. He's been awful for months. We need Boyce and Bolters to step up. We need someone to do something. Nothing special occurring, and Jacobson with time to play out again. Here's Pratt, back to the keeper, and he's gone long downfield. Can we win the header? We can't. De Silva wins it, finds Mbappe, skins Mazzino, the fullback, goes alone and drags his shot wide. But where on earth is the challenge there? It's so easy for Chelsea now. And I'm really worried about this last 40 minutes. Though Balic has a free kick. Delivers from the right. Semedo's there, just over the bar. Our first good chance since our second goal. And it's gone begging. It's over for a goal kick. And it's Chelsea on the left-hand side with an attacking throw now. Cusco delivers. Mbappe loses out in the air. Balic hacks downfield for Coppens. And he needs support here. Coppens beats one. He's challenged by the second, but it falls for Balic, who'd got up with him. Into Lima. He has to score. Oh, Ryan Lima. He's 1-on-1. He's missed again. What on earth has happened to him? He's been our best player for years. 5 goals in 27 starts. He hasn't found his form this year. He's been so good for us in the past. Balic delivers the corner. Headed away by De Silva. Semedo picks it up on the edge. Balic again. Chance to cross. Back to Semedo. He does deliver. Coppens loses out. And De Silva finds Cusco. And now it's Chelsea on the counter. They've got 4-on-2. Where on earth's the back 4 gone? Mbappe finds the left-hand side. Mazzino's closing him. Gets a great block in. That's fantastic defending from the Brazilian. And now it's Boyce in central midfield. This is an unbelievable FA Cup tie. What a game of football it is. Balic on the left. He's already scored 1. Goes back to Bolters. He's got a man up with him. Lima's there, but he finds McLaughlin. Back heel to Coppens. Brilliant through ball, but Coppens' shot probably not the best. And Jacobson comfortably saves and distributes brilliantly to Mbappe. On the right finds De Silva in the centre circle. Back to Cusco, who scored that equaliser, and now Felix. Off the left-hand side, back to Cusco again, and then the overlapping left-back gets there on the byline. Delivers to the front post. Oh, Gabriel Afonso. No, what are you doing? He's almost beaten by the cross. His leg keeps it out on the line, and then the rebound is tapped in by the striker, who could not be more delighted. That is a terrible way to concede. I mean, he's almost having a David De Gea after a brilliant first 10 minutes here. Zach Council will come in on the right because, to be honest, Ryan Lima's been atrocious. Jerome Yonton in central midfield. And at centre-half, I don't think we can do anything. It's going to be Correa for Pollock, who's not match fit. And it's the FA Cup semi-final where we've gone from 2-0 up to 3-2 down. Now can we find a way back into it? We're going to ask the lads for some passion. Most of them frustrated, furious, nervous even in instances. So we're going to go attacking. We're going to have to go for it. And we'll see what comes from it. We'll push our defensive and line of engagement further forward. We'll also be more expressive and we'll also pass a bit more direct. And let's see if we can find an equaliser from somewhere. 5 minutes to go and it looks like it's going to be Chelsea's day. If this was the head coach, I'd be delighted my Chelsea side was winning. But I'm not. I'm the Dorking Wanderers manager, and our chance of an FA Cup final and a first major trophy for the club has gone. We're pleased with the performance. The lads did well in truth. Perhaps we should have reacted quicker at 2-0 up, but it wasn't to be. Chelsea scored goals, a couple of them really silly, and they are through to the FA Cup final. Now we need to see what happens between United and Tottenham. We'll be back in a moment for that. Well, there's a big game in the Premier League as well. Brighton away at Burnley, and we need a favour from our live stream side, as well as the United winning the FA Cup. Those two things combined should get us Europa League football next season. And of course, we will be reliant slightly as well on Burnley in the Europa League too. And it looks like they've been resting players for it. Brighton win, they're back within 5 points. It's not over yet. Don't forget, the final episode of the season will be us away to Brighton on the final day. And it could still be all to play for at that point. The superior goal difference helps us, but they've got Angerin, who we've got at Chelsea, of course. A little bit older in this one. But there's some good players there. Now we need to hope United won. They didn't. Tottenham won on penalties. And suddenly, we've gone from jubilation and excitement to worrying about whether 6th is going to be enough again. So we've got Tottenham in the FA Cup final, who will overrule us and get into Europe if they win it. We've got Brighton in 7th, who are just behind us now, 5 points with us to play at home. And we've also got Burnley in the Europa League semi-finals. There are some big moments coming up in this series. And I tell you what, the next episode, when we go to Brighton away on the final day of the Premier League season, is crucial. We must wrap up 6th place. We've got Burnley away first. Hopefully, they'll have been resting players for Europe. We've got Bournemouth at home, which we must win. Arsenal at home, we hope they've got nothing to play for. And Brighton away. It's still all to play for. Let's look at Brighton's running by comparison. And then we'll go and look at our good news off the pitch. Brighton have got us at home last. Palace before that. But United and Liverpool, we need 2 defeats there. We really do. But they've got other things to worry about. So we can't really get too excited for it yet. But let's finish with the more positive news before we head back for the Brighton game in the next episode. And that news is stadium improvements. It has been agreed that we will have the stadium expanded to a 27,000-seater. It was beyond the capacity I thought it had. And they said it's only going to take to November. And there's no news of relocation. Now, I'm aware that may change after the season, but for me, I think that essentially means we'll just have a slightly reduced capacity, but we'll stay at the Mark White Arena. We've got more improvements to the training and youth facilities to come, and we've of course met all of our board expectations now. A brilliant season, but again, no trophy. But we need European football, so fingers crossed that will be the next thing to come. So if you did enjoy this episode and you're looking forward to that decider on the last day of the season, please do put a thumbs up on the video. I'll finish on the table so you can see what it looks like, just as a reminder of how tight it is getting there. Plenty to play for and a tough run-in for both of us. And even if we do finish 6th, it might not be enough for the 2nd year in a row. We need Chelsea, who knocked us out today, to win that FA Cup final desperately. And of course, we need Manchester City to beat Burnley in the Europa League. If Burnley win that, and Tottenham win the FA Cup, 6th will not be enough. So let me know in the comments what you think will happen, how many of those things will go right or wrong for us. And of course, please do subscribe down below and turn that notification bell on to get alerts of every episode when it releases, including the crucial final game of the season from this one. We're also at Chelsea, as we alluded to, in the head coach now, our first European super club in that series, although we have had success in other countries too, so go and check that one out if you can. We've got our weekly live stream series with Burnley, which will continue on Tuesday at 10 AM. And you can check out our podcast channel in the eye above for interviews with different professionals from various areas of the game, as well as matchday vlogs, predictions and topical podcasts too. So thank you so much for your support with that one, and over here as always. And I hope to see you next time for what I hope will be a peaceful last day, but it could well have a lot riding on it yet.